What's going on, guys? It is Tony from Lomo Paintball, and today we are talking paintball hoppers, pro tips and tricks.
Because who's going to keep you feeding all the paint into your markers all the time?
That's going to be us right here at lomopaintball.com. So a lot of you guys have reached out and asked us, like, what can I do to upgrade my hopper? What is going to help me feed better out there on the paintball field? So I kind of grabbed a couple items from around the warehouse to kind of show you what you can do, a couple different tricks you can add to your hopper to help you with consistent feeding. First off, most importantly for me is using a good quality paintball. I threw up some GI 5-star on the table today. You want to make sure that the paint is nice and round. It hasn't been sitting in too cold of weather and too hot of weather. And you guys absolutely need to make sure that it's not too small. I know you can't help it. You really can't, but
Can't help it. It's got, it is what it gave you.
yeah, you're gonna get what you get, and you can't throw a fit. You know what I mean? But if your paint is too small,
Got something for you.
Maybe you're rocking a dye LTR original rotor. Maybe you're rocking a dye R2, the free flow funnel feed system. Check that bad boy out.
Yeah, look at that.
How do you feel about that?
I like those.
The only thing is it feeds a little bit slower, but it is so good with the smaller paint out there, which unfortunately we do see that more often these days in the paintball world. Your paint back when was a true around a 689. Now you're seeing around 680-ish type stuff. So if you guys are rocking one of the R2s, LTR, or rotor, then
yeah, and I mean, like, if you're still shooting 15, like, we say slower, but like the rotor's still fast.
Oh,
It's
100%. It's going to keep up. I mean, NXL, we're talking 10.5 balls per second. So slower, but I mean,
you're not acting. You're not really slower.
No, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're still feeding just fine.
So don't forget about the funnel feed system. That is an upgrade to the die hoppers. Also, speaking of that, a little hopper trick there, I would say, is it is the Virtue In Charge. A lot of people don't realize that you guys can replace the AA batteries you guys are using with a rechargeable lithium ion pack. And these fit most of the Virtue hoppers, and they also fit the die hoppers as well. So you want to check out the Virtue In Charge. That is definitely a good kind of tip or trick per se. You guys can add that in there, and it comes with plenty of the wiring harnesses. So depending on what hopper you guys are putting it in, you guys can make that happen and not have to worry about messing around with AA batteries per se.
You save a lot of money in batteries, right?
100%.
If you're one of those people that just knows to recharge your stuff,
I was just gonna say that, because the biggest thing is you guys have to make sure this is charged up before you go out there for a day of play. Other than that, you're going to be back to
batteries. You keep your other harness with you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to keep your other harness with you. If you're like Fitz and you forgot to charge it the day before you go play, then you're going to be back to using your AA batteries.
I have my faults.
That is true. We're not going to harp on you too much for that. Next up, I would say, is going to be spring ramps. You guys need a hopper. So I have an R2 and I have a Spire 5 hopper here. A spring ramp is going to help feed that paint down into the drive cone and out of your marker a lot faster. So let's just pop this sucker off real quick.
Yeah, so if your loader doesn't have spring ramps, they usually sell them on the side.
So this one comes stock. This is the R2 by Die. It comes with the spring ramp already in the back. So obviously, as your paint gets lower, the ramp rises up and it feeds it down into the drive cone, so you guys are staying consistent and never missing a shot. So no matter what loader you have, I mean, Virtue, they're very popular. The loaders from Die are very popular, but you guys, if it is available, please make sure to purchase yourself a spring ramp for more consistent paint feeding out there. I have one here on the table. These are for the Virtue Spire IR2 hoppers. When you buy that IR2 stock out of the box, it does not come with one of these. So I would recommend, a great value, getting yourself a spring ramp for better consistent paint feeding all across the board. Speaking of the consistent paint feeding, we're going to be taking a look at this one. These are the new, they're the soft fingers for the Virtue Spire 5 hopper, which I have sitting right here. And one is meant for brittle paint and one is meant for faster feeding. So if you guys are really trying to crank your marker up to higher balls per second, you guys can use one or the other. But yeah, you've got brittle paint and then you've got one for I'm going to shoot real fast paint.
So you got like spirit fingers and then like jazz hands.
Yes, one is softer paddle, one is a harder
Spirit
paddle.
fingers are the fast ones.
Oh yeah, they're the fast ones. Locking mechanisms for a hopper tip and trick, because a lot of you guys are out there taking hard dives. So something like the R2 has a nice, very good locking feature on there. So let me just put this thing.
I've seen, now they do lock. They lock very well. So if you're diving right,
Yes.
you're fine. We just recently put out a couple Instagram clips of hoppers yard sailing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
so
those are some hard dives. Like you really got to hit the ground to get those locks.
I mean, I'm telling you on the back here, because you can go from 260 on this one to one side, and then you can go just to open the hopper on the other. But the locking system on the R2, I mean, super, super solid. Virtue Spire 5s also did a great job with that, because there's a push button here on the back of the hopper, which I've already done a video on as well, but it actually came out with a nice locking mechanism. Oh, Fitz, would you look?
Look at that.
What is that?
That looks like a spring ramp.
It is a spring
big
ramp.
one.
It's pretty weird, because you would want your paint to feed back down into the drive cone and out into your paintball marker. So this one comes stock with a spring ramp, which we already talked about, but it does have that nice locking mechanism in the back. You can push that tab up, and you are not gonna be going anywhere with that bad boy.
Even my ungraceful self could not bust that one open.
No,
I've tried.
And the previous models, obviously, that's why Spire came out with that, is because, like Fitz just said, there's been some videos of people taking really hard dives. Their hopper flops open, paint goes everywhere, and then you're smoked. So having a hopper that has a nice locking mechanism is a very, very good feature to have. Last thing I think I'm going to touch on for kind of the newer guys out there, hopper tips and tricks, is going to be the speed feed. So obviously rain lids are important if you guys are playing in bad conditions, but if you guys want to be one of the fastest reloaders out there on the field, you guys are going to need a speed feed. Dumping that paintball pod into that hopper with quick ease instead of having to open up your lid, pour the paint in, then close your lid again. A speed feed is a necessity. I think you threw one of these up here on the table.
I just grabbed that one. There's ones for all different loaders.
Yeah,
out there,
pretty much almost every loader out on the market has a speed feed option. So if you guys are looking to kind of take your game to the next level, I would highly recommend getting yourself a speed feed for your hopper. Other than tips and tricks per se, I don't think, always make sure you guys are shooting good paint. Always make sure you guys, if it's available for your hopper, get yourself a spring ramp to help feed down into the cone. Like I said, this one, the drive fingers that I mentioned, these ones are just for the Spire 5, but the End Charge is a really, really good one that most people forget about. Like I said, if you guys want a rechargeable lithium battery pack, definitely go with that. And then retouching, recapping the smaller paint. If you guys are rocking anything, the die hoppers out there, make sure to get the funnel feed system by Free Flow, and that'll definitely help your hopper game out. Other than that, Fitz, do you have anything that we didn't think? You got nothing?
Nah, you nailed it, man. You nailed all the points on my sheet over here. You're a professional, man.
No,
Nailed
I'm not.
it.
I wouldn't even call myself that. But if you guys want to find the best hoppers, the best accessories for the hopper, shop the best. It's lomopaintball.com.